Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamey Daddy channel. Today we're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I've played for exactly 0 minutes. So what that means is I'll be giving you basically impressions of what I've been able to gather from, basically Ubisoft's forward reveal, what I've seen from some of the reviewers, and even reading comments, because it's very important for you to know how gamers feel about a game, if you know what I mean, especially in the reveal phase. So this is good. We're in July. The game doesn't come out till November, and we've been able to see a lot of gameplay. We've been able to see some story aspects, mechanics, open world exploration, a whole lot of other things, and some of the new things that are being brought to the game. Now, I did watch a little bit of skill ups. I played Assassin's Creed for 4 hours video and ACG. These are two of my favorite reviewers. They're two of the more respected reviewers in the community, in the gaming community today. There are others, but I just watched a little bit of both of theirs. And I have to say, they just didn't seem like they had a lot of excitement towards the game. And I think that's because the game doesn't really do too much new. It's not like you're playing some brand new, innovative Assassin's Creed game. If you even listen, to other reviewers as well, you're going to hear that sentiment even from when the gameplay was first leaked. Then if you move into comment section, what you're going to start seeing is people just kind of making, fun jokes about some mechanics, like, oh, stomping is much more. There's a comment where someone said, I can't believe we're now in a world where stomping is much more powerful than 2 sharpened axes. Just different snarky comments here and there. And then some people said, I'm going to go for Ghost of Tsushima because I feel like that's going to provide a better gameplay loop. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. And, right now, even the reviewers that didn't seem as excited, I have to also say that they're also working on Ghost of Tsushima reviews right now. So I think they're in the crap, I gotta get stuff done mode. And maybe they even made this video ahead of time. Who knows? Maybe they had the access a while ago. They played 4 hours, then they made their impressions videos. But Ghost of Tsushima looks like a game that's going to definitely win the cake when compared to this game. But that's all I can say. Looks like. I'm not saying it will, because Assassin's Creed also brings its own unique things to the table. And I'm a new adopter of Assassin's Creed, having played Odyssey. I have to say that I'll be happy to play this game, regardless of the level of not so great excitement that the community has. For me, this is probably going to be my second or third Assassin's Creed game. I'm currently playing Origins. I went back and backtracked because you guys said to, and looking at some of the mechanics and some of the systems here, there's nothing that will hinder me from, none of the mechanics nonetheless is off-putting for me. And I have to say, combat seems solid. Movement seems solid. Assassin's Creed gameplay loops that I enjoyed in Odyssey seem solid. But I have to say, from the way things are, from the lighting and all that, I think the ancient Greek setting is just much more beautiful. And I mentioned this in some of my other videos, how immersive that setting was. That, if you're going to be spending 50 hours in a game, or 40 or 30, you have to enjoy the open world. And I think the way this open world is, they're going to need to brighten this thing in order to appeal to gamers. As much as they may think, oh, let's give it the Viking, ancient England, brutal England, dark setting, I don't think that's going to really work for a lot of people. I think if you have your day and night cycles that do reveal a very good, beautiful part of the open world, I think that'll work. And then maybe like the gloomy weather can be dynamic, which I think they'll do a good job with. But yeah, we did see some of the open world in bright daylight, and that looked very good. I hope that they will be able to explore, basically expose more of that for us. What I see with this lighting, this kind of weird cinematic effect thing that they're trying to do to make on this dark Viking thing, I don't know if it's going to work for a lot of people. It doesn't really work for me. That's not really going to stop me nonetheless from, engaging with the game and going with it. And then for lore, I think what we've seen so far shows like a lore that's there to build relationships. This is very, very critical with these new Assassin's Creed games. I don't know about the old Assassin's Creed games, didn't really play them. And what I've seen so far playing Origins, even in the first area that you're in, I'm still in Siwa. I'm doing all the side missions and everything. I want to clean out Siwa first before I move out of the map in Origins. Is I've seen that there's a relationship dynamic very strong in Assassin's Creed Origins. And then in Odyssey, there's also a decent relationship dynamic as well. It's not necessarily too broad, if you get what I mean, but it's more familial. So there's a family that you have in Origins, Odyssey, because their family and relatives that are actually, included in this story. Here with this Eivor, we've not seen anything like that. And that might be a very strong connection that might be missing, but we don't know what the story is. So not knowing the story might not give us a lot of that information, and that's fine for now. But I'm hoping that we have those relationships in the game, because if you have relationships, it's very easy for you to get into the character, if you get what I mean, especially a character that's kind of generic, Eivor. It's not like you're playing Alexios, or you're playing Cassandra, or you're playing Bayek, if you get what I mean. So if this might be a character that you might be able to get into if they have good relationships as well. And that's from a lore and story perspective. And then for me, one of my favorite things is going to be combat. Now, I have to say, the Assassin's Creed combat does not really impress me too much, to be very honest. I think the open world exploration, the story with this new Assassin's Creed anyways, with the new Assassin's Creed, I don't think the Odyssey combat and the look of it, this Valhalla combat is too impressive for me, because I've seen Ghost of Tsushima combat, and that one is absolutely 10 out of 10 from what we've seen. But nonetheless, Assassin's Creed combat to me is like it's its own thing. People say they love the way that it's more gruesome. They love the way that it's set up. I would give it, based on what I played on Odyssey, I'll give the Odyssey a 7 out of 10. I'll give Bayek an 8 out of 10, because Bayek has some weapons that I really do enjoy, if you get what I mean. And so if you think about all of this, and looking at what we're seeing so far, I think this game is going to be successful. Now, I have to put something out there. Many people are saying, oh, this game is going to come out the same time as Cyberpunk 2077. We're going to see a huge competition. No, we're not. Both games are very different games and appeal to very different people. And I think as well, many gamers are going to be waiting for sales of either or both games. So you have to think about it this way. The person who wants to buy both games is going to be put in a position where they basically have to shell out, the $120 price tag, or they wait for a sale when the game is around a $35, $39 price tag and purchase both of them at the cost of maybe $70 or $80 in total. You put that as the math, then you're going to see that people can enjoy both games, and most likely will. Or they buy one first and then go ahead and buy the other one. One of the things about profitability with software, especially with digital downloads, is, if you have the game, you're expecting a specific number of physical sales. But at the same time, digital sales continue to string along for years down the road. So if you pay $60 for a game and somebody goes ahead and pays $11 for a game, at the end of the day, you're still bringing in money into the pockets of the developer and publisher. I bought Assassin's Creed Odyssey for a grand total of $14, and I enjoyed it just as much, or maybe if not much more, than some people who paid $60. Odyssey I bought for the grand total of maybe $5 or $9 or something. And so I'm already enjoying it. And if I beat it, it'll probably be maybe even more enjoyable for me than somebody who may have bought it for $60 price tag and it's just sitting in their library, or they bought a physical copy and eventually had to just maybe go sell it or trade it in for a little bit of money. So I think when we're looking at sales, we need to look at sales long term. And Ubisoft games have a very funny way of being sold long term. Also, CD Projekt Red games also have a very funny way of being sold long term. The Witcher is still selling like hotcake, even most likely till date. So both games are going to play their own role. They're so distinct where you're not going to see too much of a competition, because they're games that are basically in two different trajectories. Now, if maybe CD Projekt Red was bringing out The Witcher 4, and this game was going to come out on the same day, then this game will be buried in the sand, no doubt, if you get what I mean. So think about Odyssey. Odyssey was successful enough, and it came out in the same season as, Spider-Man, as, Tomb Raider as well. So if you think about all those other strong contenders as well for people's time and money, even though I think they were about a month apart, you can say Odyssey did well, and we're still yet to see what this game is about anyways. And so once the game comes out, once people start looking at it, and people who think Cyberpunk may not appeal to them, there are people who think that. Even for me, a little bit, I'm looking at the first person setup and I'm going, I'm a third person kind of, gamer, and this already is third person. It's already a check off the box for me. Hopefully day one, purchase and play. That's basically how I want to play this game, if you get what I mean. Cyberpunk 2077 is also another potential day one purchase, but potential because it's first person, if you get what I mean as well. So all of this is a lot to take in right now, but we're looking forward to some of the bigger and more in-depth reveals, looking at what the consoles may bring, looking at what PC may bring. I'll be playing on PC because a lot of people have said the game doesn't really visually look very good from what they've seen, but when you get it on a PC and you start to deal with settings and all that, if it's well optimized, you're going to gain good visuals basically based on your machine. Anyways, that's basically all that I have for now based on, what we've seen so far. If there's any more in-depth combat mechanics that I would like to talk about, I'll be happy to do that in a separate video, but I'm keeping my Assassin's Creed content to a very bare minimum. If you guys notice, I'm only doing maybe like 1 or 2 videos every month through the release. But right now we're going to be looking at Ghost of Tsushima. I'll be covering that on my other channel, Video Game Fight School. And if you want to check it out, you can hop in there. You're invited. You can hit the subscribe button. You can comment. You can do whatever you want. You can support the channel. It's all gonna be so much fun. And if there are any videos from there that I feel like will work on the Gamey Daddy channel, I'll probably maybe drop them. But you know how algorithm works. You don't want to throw all kinds of stuff on your channel. You have to be very meticulous about everything. Anyways, I appreciate you guys' time and audience. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my ramblings. I'll get out of your hair right now, and hopefully we'll see in another video. Peace out.